Yo, what's up guys? So today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was about to get executed by Konoha, but Kami and Yami saved him, part 3. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. Hey, Naruto, wanna go get ramen later? Oh, are you two stupid idiots? We're in a hospital with a patient, and this is how you act. Show some more respect around here. Everyone else in the room sweat dropped at the irony, and Ino looked away in embarrassment. Eventually, Tsunade started to usher the visitors out of the room one by one. While that was happening, Hinata slowly approached Naruto. Naruto-kun. Yes, Hinata. Hinata looked down at the floor, fidgeting slightly. Naruto-kun, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry, and that you were right. Can we be friends again? Hinata-chan. It may take time for you to forgive me, Naruto-kun, but please give me another chance. She slowly turned around, and headed towards the door. Hinata-chan, I forgave you before it ever happened. With tears streaming from her lavender eyes, Hinata walked out of the room, and back to the Hyuga compound. With a sigh, Naruto leaned back in bed, and closed his eyes. The next day, Naruto woke up in the hospital. Judging from the amount of sunlight streaming in through the window, it seemed to be around noon. He looked at the nightstand, upon which a small piece of folded paper rested. He opened the piece of paper, and began to read its contents. Naruto. Meet me at the training field, as soon as you wake up. If I catch you loitering around. Tenten. Naruto rushed off to their usual training ground. He didn't want to find out what Tenten would do to him if he didn't show up right away. 2 minutes later, Naruto was at the training ground, hunched over, and panting heavily. Well, it's a good thing you decided to show up, Naruto. Otherwise, I would have made your day painful. Slowly, Naruto caught his breath. So, what are we doing for training today? Tenten flushed red, and mumbled something. You say something, Tenten. Tenten clenched her fists, and glared at Naruto. I said you won your bet with me, so you're taking me on a date. Alright then, Tenten. How about I pick you up at your house at 4? Tenten nodded, and rushed off to prepare for her date. Naruto watched, as Tenten ran off with a smile on his face. As soon as Tenten disappeared from sight, a sudden realization hit him. Shit. What do people do on dates? Tenten will kill me if things go wrong. I need someone to teach me the right way to act. Iruka-sensei. Over at the academy, Iruka was grading papers during his lunch break when he felt a chill run up his spine. Something was telling him to run away, and hide in a cold dark cave. Iruka was at the academy, giving a lecture on the legacy of the Nidaime. Like usual, his students weren't paying much attention to his lectures. He ignored the whispers of his students, and continued to list examples of the Nidaime's unparalleled affinity for water. As he continued to write, Iruka's mind wandered over to the topic of Naruto. He hadn't seen Naruto after his fight with Hiashi, and the subsequent meeting afterwards, but the latest rumor throughout Konoha was that Naruto had managed to hold off Orochimaru single-handedly. He heard one of his students whisper Naruto's name, so he channeled some chakra to his ears, and began to eavesdrop on his class. Did you hear what Naruto did the other day? I heard he saved a kitty from a burning building at 4 in the morning. I heard he did that while fighting off enemy Nin from Iwa. Man, Naruto's so cool. Do you think he'd go out with me if I asked him? Baka, why would Naruto go out with a flat-chested whore like you? Why you? Iruka sighed. It seemed as if Naruto's fangirl following was becoming more and more irritating as time went along. As he continued to trace the Nidaime's lineage leading to the Godaime, he heard a very familiar voice drift towards him from the window. Hey Iruka-sensei, you classes are still as boring as ever, huh? Iruka turned and saw Naruto climb through the window and into the class with a mischievous grin on his face. Iruka's head started to swell at an alarming rate, causing Naruto to back away nervously. Naruto. The rest of Iruka's lecture was cut off by the squealing of the girls and the shouts of the boys in the classroom. Naruto faced the looks of admiration with an embarrassed grin, and he was immediately bombarded by questions from the class. Ignoring the excited shouts of his students, Iruka walked over to Naruto and whispered into his ear. So, what brings you here? That's right. Iruka-sensei, I need your help. I'm taking Tenten out on a date tonight. Iruka paled. He didn't like where this conversation was headed. Somewhere in the back of his mind, he tried to remember if he had ever given Naruto the talk, but he couldn't recall any such time. Iruka then decided it was time Naruto learned about the fair sex. Still, he figured he might benefit from this by extracting some sort of deal from Naruto. Naruto, I'll teach you all that you need to know, as long as you promise me one thing. Promise me that you won't lose your virginity before I do. Virginity? What's that? Oh well, if that's what Iruka-sensei says. I swear it on me. Naruto punctuated this statement with a wide smile and a thumbs up. Iruka sighed in relief. At least he wouldn't have to worry about the potential of his student getting laid before he did. First, why don't you talk with the class a bit? Class is almost over, but I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. With that, Naruto began addressing the questions from the class. As he spoke to the class, Iruka watched on in pride. His class was totally focused on the blonde shinobi, absorbing all of his words. Did you really bring Tsunade-sama back to Konoha? Haha, so you heard about that. Well, after the Sand Sound invasion, we needed a new Hokage to lead our village, and Tsunade Bachin was the only candidate for the job once Hirosenin refused. Seeing the confused looks on the students' faces, Naruto chuckled. I call her Tsunade Bachin because she's old, and I call Jiraiya Hirosenin because he's a pervert. Anyways, Hirosenin decided to take me along to find Bachin, and on the way, he began to teach me one of my father's signatures. Eventually, we found her in a bar. When Hirosenin offered the title of Hokage, Bachin refused to take the job. I got pissed at her, and we eventually fought. Actually, she kicked my ass with just one finger. However, we made a bet that day. If I could master the Rasengan within a week, Bachin would take the job and give me her necklace. If not, she would take all my money. Naruto paused to take a breath, allowing his story to sink into the minds of the silent students. 1 week later, Hirosenin and I found Tsunade fighting Orochimaru Theme and his henchman Kabuto. This was before Tsunade Bachin had gotten over her fear of blood, so Hirosenin and Shizune Nichin had to jump in before things got too ugly. In the end, I managed to wound Kabuto with a complete gut. When Orochimaru tried to kill me, I thought I was done for, but Tsunade Bachin saved my life by taking a sword through the chest. Asks could be heard throughout the classroom, but Naruto continued on. Tsunade Bachin was able to cast aside her fears and fight for something that was important to her. That's what true strength is. It isn't judged by how many you know, or by your chakra capacity and control. It's measured by the bonds that you hold with people you hold close to you. When you go out on missions, you'll find out what I mean. He pulled out Shademe's necklace and held it up for the class to see. Tsunade had returned it to him while he was unconscious in the hospital, its familiar weight resting on his chest once again. His presence brought a calming effect, serving as a reminder of the love and trust he shared with Tsunade. This necklace means much more to me than its worth at a jewelry store. I wear this around my neck as a reminder of my promise to Tsunade to never give up and to fight for those I hold dear to me. Naruto gently put the necklace back on, while the academy's students sat in silence, pondering his words. A low growl caught everyone's attention. Fight me. A pale-eyed Hyuga boy stood up and glared at the blonde shinobi, leaking a small amount of killer intent. Those nearby slowly edged away, afraid of retaliation from Naruto. To everyone's surprise, Naruto laughed at the young Hyuga. Oh? And what makes you think that you can take me on? Don't tell me you have a stick up your ass like Neji did. Do I have to beat that out of you? He disappeared in a blur, and reappeared behind the young Hyuga, holding his wakizashi to the trembling student's neck. The Hyuga swallowed, and clenched his fists tightly, and his voice came out in a faint whisper that only Naruto could hear. You hurt Hinata Inazuma. Naruto slowly withdrew the wakizashi, and stared the Hyuga in the eye. What is your name? Hitachi, Hyuga Hitachi. Very well, what does Hinata-chan mean to you? Hinata Inazuma has been a symbol of hope for the Hyuga. Once she becomes the clan heir, the rift between the main house and the branch house can begin to heal. Her kindness and determination will carry the Hyuga to a renewed prosperity. I see, but how about what she means to you personally? Hinata Inazuma was the first person to acknowledge my existence, not as a member of the Hyuga clan, but as Hyuga Hitachi the person. I would do anything to protect her from anyone who tries to hurt her, that's why I must fight you. Naruto raised an eyebrow. And how exactly are you going to beat me? Hitachi clenched his fists and trembled in anger. Naruto yanked the Hyuga by the front of his shirt and brought him to eye level. Hitachi, I like that fighting spirit, and I use that to protect Hinata-chan. However, I'm not someone who would ever try to hurt Hinata-chan, remember that. Naruto let go of Hitachi and walked back to the front of the classroom while the Hyuga stared at him. After a moment, a red-faced girl asked the question that had been on the minds of all the Kunoichi hopefuls. Do you have a girlfriend? Immediately, the classroom went into an uproar. The girls in the classroom all squealed and bombarded Naruto with requests ranging from dates to marriage and sexual intercourse. Iruka sighed in exasperation. We have to do something about these fangirls. It's funny, back when Naruto was in the academy, he didn't have any fangirls, but now they're all going crazy over him. Before armed warfare could break out, Naruto waved his hands to get attention. Almost instantly, the classroom fell silent. Naruto marveled at the power such a simple action seemed to have over the class. Time to snap them out of their delusions. Ladies, the way you are right now, I promise you that you all would make the worst type of Kunoichi. A look of shock passed over all of the girls' faces, but Naruto continued on, heedless of their stunned expressions. The life of a shinobi is not something to be taken so lightly. When you're out on the battlefield, these things don't matter anymore. Fight for those you hold dear to you, but don't allow yourself to be blinded by your feelings. Remember, if you take up the Konoha hit I-8, and I find out that you betray Konoha for your own petty ambitions, Naruto's eyes glinted dangerously, and his voice deepened. I will be the first one to hunt you down. The bell chimed, signaling the end of class. Still, the students were seated at their desks, transfixed. Slowly, Naruto's fierceness seemed to dissipate, to be replaced with his familiar grin. Well, what are you brats waiting for? Go on, and get out of here. As the students shuffled out of the academy, Naruto turned to Iruka. Iruka could have sworn that Naruto's smile had a feral quality. Alright, Iruka-sensei. It's time for you to teach me how to date. Iruka gulped. Why don't we head on over to my house, then? When they got there, after setting down 2 cups of tea, Iruka sat down at the kitchen table and looked over at the eager Naruto. So, you and Tenten, huh? When did that happen? Naruto sputtered and waved his hands in the air frantically. It's not like that, Iruka-sensei, seriously. She's been helping me learn some, so I'm taking her out to thank her. We're just going, as friends, nothing more. But still, I don't really know what to do. I mean, I've never gone out with a girl before, so I was sort of hoping that you could give me some advice. Shit, does Naruto seriously think that I can teach him anything about dating? It's not like I've been active on the dating scene. Well, Naruto, the first thing to remember is that when you first see her, you must compliment her. It has to be real, because if she finds out that you're lying, she'll get angry at you. Naruto nodded. Getting Tenten angry was definitely one of the last things he wanted to do, right up there kissing Sasuke or being put in a yaoi novel with Iruka. Also, you have to be able to read her emotions. Women, especially kunoichi, are capable of hiding their emotions, and keeping them happy is an important part of a successful date. Sometimes they'll say that they're happy, even when they want to do nothing other than rip you apart. Iruka-sensei. Why are they like that? I mean, if they were angry, why don't they just come out and say it? Naruto, women are the biggest mysteries to us men. Many noblemen have spent their whole lives trying to understand women. Jiraiya-sama of the legendary Sannin is an example of this. Ha. Iro-sensei is nothing but a pervert. Maybe Jiraiya-sama is not the best example for this, but I assure you that understanding the hearts of women is a challenge that we must all deal with at some point in our lives. Naruto, I wish you good luck. Naruto sighed, wondering just what he had gotten himself into. I can tell you this. There are things that you and Tenten may do when you're out having fun, but may not be appropriate for dates. Iruka noticed Naruto's look of confusion and decided to elaborate. That means no training and no ramen. Naruto's eyes grew wide, and Iruka chuckled in amusement. Don't worry about it too much, Naruto. The rewards for doing this will be well worth it. What do you mean, Iruka-sensei? Well, I was talking about the benefits at the end of the date. Benefits? You know, stuff like hugs and kisses, or if you've been with her for a while. Iruka's voice dropped down to a conspiratorial whisper, sex. Naruto was bright red when Iruka brought up hugging and kissing. He had always seen Tenten as very attractive, but he had never once thought of her that way. He pushed aside rather impure thoughts, and asked a question that sparked the rest of Iruka's words. What sex? Iruka nearly fainted. Crap, I forgot that I'd probably have to give him the talk. Still, it's kind of awkward, talking to Naruto about this. Now I know how Dad felt when he had to do this. Still, I guess I have to teach him. Just as Iruka was about to explain, he was struck by divine inspiration. He'd just relegate the task to someone more qualified to teach Naruto. Well, Naruto, I'm probably not the best person to ask. Why don't you go ask Tsunade-sama? As Naruto flew out the door in the direction of the Hokage Tower, Iruka called out after him. Don't forget our promise, Naruto. Tsunade was having a wonderful day in her office. She had finished all of the paperwork, the council was quiet, and she was enjoying a warm bottle of sake with Shizune. Nothing could go wrong. Nothing. Shizune, isn't this great? We're finally done with our work. Nothing can bother us. Tsunade-chan. Damn, what does the brat want this time? Teach me about sex. Tsunade spat out the sake she was sipping, and stared at the blonde. She wasn't quite sure she heard him properly. Excuse me. Well, Iruka-sensei said he couldn't teach me about sex, so I decided to come and ask you about it. Shizune flushed a dark shade of red, as she thought of the copy of the dolphin and the fox on her nightstand, while Tsunade wore a pensive look on her face. Of course. Nobody has ever taught Naruto about girls, and given his natural naivety, it isn't surprising for Naruto to not know about sex, even if he was the inventor of the Warrick no Jutsu. She smirked, sending a slight chill down Naruto's spine. So, our little Naru-chan is ready to grow up now. Why don't you let Shizune and me teach you all you need to know? Naruto swallowed nervously, as Tsunade started to lecture. Meanwhile, Tenten was busy rummaging through her closet looking for clothes to wear. Since she had never associated with many of her female counterparts at the academy, instead choosing to focus on her kunoichi training, she had never put much thought or effort into her looks. She wore clothing that fit nicely, and didn't interfere with her mobility, and she supposed that her training regimen kept her fit and trim. That's why she was in a mild state of panic when she realized that she had no clue as to what she should wear. With a sigh, she swallowed her pride, and headed out of her apartment, and in the direction of the Yamanaka flower shop. When she got there, she found Ino casually seated at the counter with both legs propped up, skimming through the pages of the most recent issue of the Kunoichi Monthly. As soon as Tenten entered the shop, Ino looked up expectantly. "Welcome to Yama. Hey there, Tenten. What brings you here? Are you buying flowers for Niji again?" Tenten balled her fists, but maintained her composure outwardly. She probably wouldn't be able to get Ino's help by throwing a kunai at her face. When the hell will she ever let that go? That was ages ago, when I found out that Niji and I were going to be on the same team. I haven't ever thought about that asexual sponge that way ever since. Actually, Ino, I was hoping that you could help me out a bit. You see, I'm going to be going out later today, and I have no clue what to wear or what to do. Ino smiled deviously. So the icy cold weapons mistress is finally going out on a date. Who's the lucky guy? It can't be Niji. Oh god, it's Lee, isn't it? Actually, I've heard that you've been spending lots of time with Naruto recently. It's him, isn't it? Tenten hoped that Ino didn't pick up the slight flush that lit up her cheeks. You know what, maybe I'll go ask Sakura instead. Tenten's words worked like a charm. Almost instantly, Ino was out of the flower shop, dragging Tenten behind. Alright Tenten, we're going on a beauty run right now. Just leave it to me. Tenten watched in amazement as Ino stormed throughout Konoha, shopping for clothes and accessories, getting her hair and nails fixed up, all things that she had never dreamed of doing as a kunoichi. Part of her was wondering exactly why she was going through all this, all for the sake of a simple date with Naruto. She held up a bra that Ino had thrust into her arms and glared at the lace. Did she really need to purchase new lingerie for this date? It's not as if Naruto would be seeing any of that stuff. She blushed as she imagined exactly how Naruto would be seeing her in her underwear. Not fucking likely. Ino looked over in concern. Maybe her shopping companion was starting to lose her mind. Tenten just didn't seem the type to understand the wonderful subtleties of searching for the right top or finding a pair of cute shoes on sale. She quickly steered Tenten to the next store. It wasn't every day that Ino got to oversee a complete makeover of a fellow kunoichi, so she was going to make the most of the moment. Hopefully she would be able to worm a few details of Tenten's mystery date along the way. In another shopping district, Naruto stumbled out of the department store clutching an armful of bags. After Tsunade and a blushing Shizune finished explaining sexual intercourse to Naruto, they had asked him what had brought up the conversation in the first place. When Tsunade found out about Naruto's date with Tenten, she had grabbed Naruto and Shizune and literally carried them out of the office. While they were picking out clothes for Naruto, Tsunade and Shizune peppered the bewildered blonde with random tidbits of dating advice. Naruto didn't quite understand much of what they were saying, so he just nodded and feigned comprehension. In actuality, Naruto was still trying to digest the earlier sex education he had received from Tsunade. He supposed that the worst part was when Tsunade had tried to coerce Shizune into disrobing and serving as a nude model for Tsunade's lesson on female anatomy. In the end, Tsunade had called in Mitarashi Anko, who had jumped out of her fishnet before Tsunade got halfway through her request. He'd never see Tenten the same way again. The glare of the sun overhead jerked Naruto out of his thoughts, informing him that they had left the shop. He looked down at the large bundle of bags in shock. He didn't realize that Tsunade had gotten so much clothing. What the hell is up with this, Bachin? You said you were getting me clothing for my date, not for the rest of my life. Tsunade whacked Naruto upside the head twice. The first one was for calling me old. The second hit was for being an idiot. Naruto, I'll be honest, your sense of clothing has always been hideous. When you get home, before you head out on your date, I want you to replace your old clothing with these new ones. You can send your old clothing to me. With a sigh, Naruto nodded and headed back towards his home. Tsunade watched the blonde walk off with dollar signs shining in her eyes. I wonder how much Naruto's boxers will sell for at the Naruto Superstore. Back at Tenten's apartment, it was 5 minutes till 4, and Tenten was pacing the floor. Ino had assured her that her date would be floored by her transformation, but Tenten still had her reservations. She anxiously pulled at her hair. The hairdresser had pulled her hair out of her buns, and had arranged her hair in a way that Tenten thought was impossible. Still, she had to admit that it looked really hot. Each curl and lock of hair was delicately put in place, accentuating her brown eyes nicely. The clothing that Ino had picked out for her fit nicely, as well. It was similar to her regular outfit, but after Ino's modifications, she could only describe her new outfit as downright sexy. Ino had purposely picked a smaller size, so both the top and her pants hugged tightly to her figure, accentuating all of her curves. There was a slit cut in the back, exposing some of her creamy white skin for all to see. She twirled around in front of a mirror, giggling slightly before flushing red. What the hell is wrong with me? She glanced over at her clock, almost willing the minute hand to move faster. 4 minutes. I wonder what Naruto-kun will think of how I look. 3 minutes. Naruto-kun. What the hell am I, an academy fangirl? 2 minutes. Knock. Knock. Naruto's early arrival caught Tenten off guard. She stumbled over to the door and wrenched it open. Smooth. Her breath hitched in her throat as she stared at the blonde Adonis standing across from her. Likewise, Naruto was openly gaping at the goddess in front of him. Wow. Tenten raised an eyebrow, and Naruto hastily tried to correct himself. I mean, you look really nice today. Not that you don't usually look nice. It's just that today you look even better than normal. Naruto's voice trailed off awkwardly. Well, you look good too, Naruto. At this small compliment, Naruto seemed to regain some of his famous swagger. Holding his arm out for Tenten, he led her out into the streets. As they walked through Konoha, Tenten noticed the jealous looks that many of the other girls were throwing her way. She pressed herself tighter to Naruto's arm and smirked slightly. That's right, girls, and he's all mine. Naruto seemed to sense the killing intent radiating from Tenten, because he turned to her with a look of concerned confusion. Tenten simply smiled and waved it off. Nothing could possibly go wrong. How incorrect she was. It wasn't that Naruto was on a bad date. Indeed, Naruto had been a gentleman throughout the entire ordeal, maintaining a respectable mannerism, albeit a bit rough. It seemed as if Kami was humoring herself by messing with the date. When they arrived at the movie theater, they were dismayed to find the building burned down to ashes. Naruto chalked it up to pure coincidence that the Uchiha compound was just across the street. Next, they decided to go to the Konoha Park to walk around, but the Inuzaka dogs were all in heat and running all over the place. After aimlessly wandering around and making some small chat, they arrived at a popular sushi restaurant, where Naruto had surprisingly managed to work out a reservation. Before they could step inside, the building exploded in chaos, and after a minute, the entire restaurant was left in shambles. Tenten could have sworn she spotted her youthful teammate stumbling away, cradling a bottle of sake. By then, Naruto seemed visibly disappointed in the lack of success, so Tenten decided to take pity on the blonde. Why don't we go over to Ichiraku's then? In a flash, Tenten found herself seated on the bar stool, happily slurping the warm noodles. Her hair had fallen out of its styling on the way to Ichiraku's, and her clothes were somewhat ruffled, but Tenten didn't care. That's right, we don't need to have the perfect princess date. Being with Naruto like this, acting normal, is so much better than trying too hard to make things just right. She continued to listen to Naruto describe his fight with Orochimaru, occasionally throwing in a jab at some of the more obviously exaggerated points in the story, when she felt two chakra signatures coming up behind them. She whirled around and saw Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura walking towards him. Naruto's mind was a mess during the entire day. When he first showed up at Tenten's door, he was shocked at how beautiful she looked, standing there in her form-fitting pink top and dark pants. It wasn't until she turned her back to him to lock the door that he noticed the slit cut in the back, exposing a healthy portion of her backside to his view. His lessons with Tsunade and Shizune rushed back into his mind, and he had to try his hardest not to give in to his newfound perversion. Then, as the date progressed, and the situation became worse and worse, Naruto couldn't help but cast nervous glances in Tenten's directions. Surely she was upset, which would mean that Naruto would be in for a world of pain shortly. When she instead offered to eat at Ichiraku's, Naruto was so relieved that he practically flew over to the ramen stand, eager for some touch of familiarity. Indeed, the warm atmosphere of Ichiraku's seemed to defuse the tension between the two, and soon they were laughing and trading stories like usual. When Tenten suddenly turned around, Naruto followed her gaze, and soon made eye contact with Sasuke and Sakura. Fight me? Naruto put a palm to his forehead. I'm eating with my friend here, I'd appreciate it if you'd leave us in peace. Damn it, dope, you tricked me with that cheek of yours. I can't accept that. Fight me now. Naruto ignored his former teammate and called for a fourth bowl of ramen. Sasuke's irritation seemed to grow with each passing second. Finally, Tsuchi slammed down a new bowl of ramen, but before Naruto could dig in once more, Sasuke darted forth and snatched the bowl away. I said, fight me now. He punctuated the statement by flinging the bowl on the ground, where it shattered, spilling its contents on the ground. Naruto didn't even flinch, but his voice came out as a low growl. Team, I'll see you at the training grounds in 10 minutes. Sasuke smirked and stalked away while Sakura followed meekly behind, casting furtive glances back at Naruto. Done. Naruto turned back to Tenten, who seemed to be trembling slightly. Tenten, you alright? Naruto? Yeah? Kick his ass, alright. Naruto grinned and walked off with Tenten over to the training grounds. Nearby, a lone blonde kunoichi stepped out of the shadows with her eyes glinting dangerously. Now this is some juicy gossip. I bet everyone will come running if they find out that Naruto-kun and Sasuke-kun are about to have a fight. Now, to spread the rumors to the rest of the shinobi. After running back home to change clothes, Naruto walked with Tenten to go face Sasuke. When Naruto and Tenten arrived at the training ground, they were surprised to see that the field was buzzing with excitement and packed with shinobi. Ino ran up to the pair, rubbing the back of her head in slight embarrassment. Yo, you two. Tenten narrowed her eyes at the bubbly blonde. What did you do this time? Are you responsible for this crowd? Ino pouted. Geez Tenten, how can you accuse me of such a thing? I might have told a couple of my friends, who might have told a few of their friends. I didn't expect that the news would spread so quickly. Well, I guess this means that there will be more people around to watch Naruto beat the shit out of Sasuke. As Naruto walked towards the waiting Sasuke, Ino pulled Tenten to the side. Hey Tenten, what do you mean by that? Sasuke is really strong. I know what he did to Naruto, and Konoha was wrong, but that doesn't mean that he's weak. Sakura says that all Sasuke does is train all day. I know Naruto managed to beat Hinata's dad, but Sasuke isn't going to go down without a fight. Tenten smirked, causing Ino to stop her rambling, and look at Tenten quizzically. Tell you what, Ino. If Sasuke is able to knock Naruto on his back once, I will go shopping with you for a whole day, and pay for everything. Ino's eyes widened at this. She could finally get her hands on that new skirt that she had been eyeing for the past few days. She was about to accept Tenten's deal when the weapons mistress cut her off. But, if Sasuke can't do it, then you will become my practice partner for a month. Ino paled at this statement. It was a widespread rumor that Tenten's teammates, Rock Lee and Hyuga Neji, were found hugging each other and crying about their teammates' cruel training session. If the little green beast of Konoha and the strongest inheritor of the Byakugan were scared shitless by Tenten's training regimen, what chance did she have of surviving? Her mind wandered back to the really cute skirt. Surely Sasuke-kun should be able to knock Naruto back once. Deal. The two Kunoichi shook hands to solidify the deal, and moved to join the other shinobi gathered to watch the battle. Naruto, you better not mess around. If you go easy on him, and let him land a hit, I'll make you suffer. Naruto was facing Sasuke, staring his former teammate in the eye. Maybe I should go easy on him for a while to get a feel for his strength. Maybe let him land a few blows. He felt a sudden chill run up his spine, as if something bad was going to happen to him if he didn't take the fight seriously from the beginning. He looked over and saw Tenten giving him a fierce glare, and gulped. Maybe he should take this fight seriously from the beginning. Dope, you managed to catch me off guard last time with your strangeness, but I'm prepared for it this time. Not going to say anything to your old teammate. What happened to the hyperactive loudmouth blonde? Naruto blinked. You say something, Uchiha. Sasuke balled his fists in anger. This was an opportunity for the two of them to test their strengths, and the dope was ignoring him, treating him like trash. Nothing. Let's fight. Sasuke drew out a kunai, an action that Naruto reciprocated. There was a silence, as the two shinobi faced each other, gauging each other's defenses. A hidden signal passed between the two combatants, and they leapt towards each other simultaneously. The kunai met with a metallic clang in the middle of the clearing. Sasuke used his free hand to throw a punch at Naruto, who easily ducked underneath the blow. Twisting around at the waist, Sasuke followed up his punch with a swift leg sweep. Naruto kicked Sasuke's leg away, and slipped underneath Sasuke's guard, and landed a shallow slice across the cheek with his kunai. Sasuke took a step backwards, and wiped off the blood from his cheek, wearing a slightly feral grin. It's about time we up the stakes, Hatobe. Sasuke flashed through a series of very familiar hand seals that ended in the tiger seal, finally bringing his right hand up to his mouth. Kaden. Dukakyu no Jutsu. A large fireball erupted from Sasuke's mouth, and rushed towards Naruto, burning everything in its path. God damn it. I hate that stupid. Naruto leapt into the nearby river to take shelter while the inferno passed overhead. As Naruto waited at the bottom of the river, he felt the water start to lift him towards the surface, and solidify. When did he learn this? Naruto quickly jumped out of the water before the no-water prison technique could take hold. Using a kunai to deflect the brace of shuriken headed his way, Naruto landed back on the ground, and raised an eyebrow at Sasuke. You learned some new tricks while I was gone, haven't you, Uchiha? Well, the Sharingan is the cherished bloodline of Konoha, so I've been growing stronger every day through the power of the Sharingan. Soon I'll be strong enough to avenge my family, and protect Konoha from future disasters. Naruto jumped over a shuriken, and twisted in the air to avoid a kunai, which stuck into the tree behind him. The acrid smell of burning sulfur wafted through the air, causing Naruto's eyes to narrow. Exploding tag, That's too simple for someone like Sasuke. What's his real plan? Naruto braced himself for the explosion, but the tag simply fizzled out. He sensed wires snaking in his direction, and quickly leapt to the side, avoiding the danger. Meanwhile, the spectators were watching the two shinobi battles. Inoichi turned to Shikaku. Say, what do you think of this fight so far? They're pretty evenly matched so far. Sasuke hasn't been able to land a blow, but Naruto hasn't been doing anything so far. I'd say it's too early to say for sure. Did you see Naruto's fight with Hiashi? Inoichi shook his head. I was busy doing work for my wife, but Ino told me how Naruto used some strange technique to catch Hiashi off guard. That's what I heard too. I wonder if he can hold up against the Manjikyu Sharingan. You two are making the same mistake that I made. Inoichi and Shikaku turned to see the normally stoic Hiashi grinning ever so slightly. What do you mean by that, Hiashi-san? It is not something that can be simply described in words. Let me ask you this, have you ever faced Namikaze Minato in a serious fight? The two shinobi nodded. Do you remember feeling a sense of dread when he looked you in the eyes? Hiashi watched Naruto land a kick to Sasuke's stomach, as Shikaku and Inoichi nodded in affirmation once more. When I faced Naruto-san, I had a similar feeling. However, when I looked into his eyes, I knew there was something different, something deeper. It was as if his eyes were penetrating the depths of my soul. What do you mean by that? The Hyuga clan is well known for possessing the Byakugan, which has been called the all-seeing eye. One minor ability of the Byakugan is to be able to read the emotions of one's opponent. My nephew, Hyuga Nichi, has a natural talent for this. What Naruto-san does, however, is on a whole different level. Hiashi watched as the two combatants paused for a moment. Sasuke's face contorted in pain momentarily before he looked up at Naruto, revealing his Mangekyou Sharingan. Hiashi grinned. I believe Uchiha-san will start to understand what it's like now. Naruto curled an eyebrow. The Uchiha survivor, who had just activated his completed Sharingan. Finally going all out, team. Instead of responding, Sasuke ran towards Naruto, wielding a short katana. Naruto sighed, pulling out a kunai to knock aside the sweeping blade. As Naruto and Sasuke continued to fight, Sasuke's irritation continued to rise. Why can't I hit Naruto? No matter how much faster I move, he always seems to be one step faster. It's as if my Sharingan can't pick him up at all. Sasuke's eyes widened in realization. No way, my Sharingan isn't working against him at all. It looks like I'll have to use it. Sasuke parried a kunai thrown by Naruto, and looked his former teammate in the eye with his Sharingan wheels spinning. Tsukiyomi. Gasps went through the crowd, as Uchiha Sasuke captured Naruto in the Almighty. Tenten clasped her hands in worry. Shit, I didn't think that the bastard would go so far as to use deadly force in this spar. Naruto-kun, please be alright. To the surprise of the audience, Naruto seemed unaffected by Sasuke's. Instead, Sasuke was the one who dropped to one knee, clutching his eye, and panting heavily. After recovering his composure, Sasuke rose up once more, and glared at Naruto. How did you do it? How did you manage to defeat that Tsukiyomi? Naruto answered by sending a flying kick at Sasuke, who barely dodged the attack. The two continued to fight, although Naruto was seen as having the clear advantage. Meanwhile Ino was, for once, not thinking about shopping and fashion. When the fight started, she prayed with all of her heart for Sasuke to knock Naruto to the ground at least once. She really wanted that skirt, damn it. At first, she thought that it would be an easy bet to win. Even though Sasuke had managed to land a solid hit, the two combatants seemed to be evenly matched in her eyes. As the fight dragged on, Ino started to pay closer attention to the fight itself. Once Naruto managed to throw off the legendary Tsukiyomi without any adverse side effects, Ino totally forgot about her bet with Tenten, and was instead focused entirely on the fight. She saw how Naruto always seemed to stay ahead of Sasuke, no matter what traps Sasuke seemed to throw his way. Slowly, she started to realize that Naruto was on a totally different level than Sasuke. It wasn't due to a difference in ability, strength, or speed that set the two apart, but Naruto exuded an overwhelming pressure that seemed to make his movements crisper, stronger. Even at a distance, Ino knew that she wouldn't stand a chance in a fight against Naruto. A shrill cry of pain brought Ino back to her senses. Huh? What just happened? Did I lose track of the match? Moments before, Naruto and Sasuke had come to a standstill once more. Naruto, you aren't taking me seriously, are you? Of course I am. Now, do you want to continue to chat, or do you want to finish this fight? Sasuke smirked at Naruto, and for the first time during the fight, there was a bit of doubt in Naruto's mind. Sasuke held out his right arm, palm face up, causing Naruto to narrow his eyes. That doesn't look like Chidori, no way it can't be. Naruto froze stiff, as a ball of swirling chakra appeared over Sasuke's hand. A Sengen. That's right, it's the technique of the Yondaime Hokage. It wasn't that hard to learn, thanks to the Sharingan. Prepare yourself, Naruto. Naruto stood there, shell-shocked, as Sasuke drew closer with the completed Rasengan. He showed no sign of making any movement to dodge them. Finally, Tenten's shrill voice cut through Naruto's thoughts. What the hell are you doing, you fucking moron? If you don't move, I'm going to kick your ass so hard, not even Kami will be able to save you. Too late. Take this, dope. Raisin. Sasuke clutched his right arm, reduced to a bloody stump, and let out a scream of pain. Naruto flicked his wakizashi, effectively cleaning the blade of blood. The crowd watched in shock as Naruto turned and started to walk away. Tenten noticed Naruto's slightly stiff motions and the small trembling of his hands. Naruto-kun. She watched fearfully as Kakashi in front of Naruto in an attempt to block his former student's path. Naruto, I understand that you may not trust us, and you might even hate us, but should you really have done that to Sasuke-kun? You need to learn to control your emotions better. Are you just going to ignore me like that, Naruto? Even if you don't want to, as your superior, I am permitted to use necessary force if you are being insubordinate. Just because your father was Minato-sensei, it doesn't mean that. Kakashi's statement was cut short when Naruto stared him in the eye. You have no right to call my father your sensei. Kakashi took an involuntary step backwards when he saw the fierce look in Naruto's eyes, allowing Naruto to walk away unimpeded. The crowd was silent as Naruto walked off into the distance, but once Naruto left the training grounds, the gathered shinobi erupted in conversation. It was during the commotion that Tenten silently slipped away from the rest of the group. Naruto can't wait for me. Tenten slowly made her way up the path to the top of the Hokage monument, where she was sure that she could find Naruto, as it was no secret among the Konoha 12 and their sensei that Naruto could often be found at the Hokage monument when he was younger. Through her concern, the irritated part of Tenten's mind decided to make herself heard. My god, why the hell does Naruto have to pick such a high place to brood? Not everyone has that freakish stamina of his. I mean seriously, here I am looking for him, and he's run off to the hardest place to reach in Konoha. She reached the top of the Hokage monument, fully intent on giving Naruto an earful. A fearful wave of tension forced her words back down her throat. She looked towards the source, and wasn't surprised to see that Naruto was standing on Yondame's head with his head bowed, and his hands clenched in fists at his sides. Thinking that Naruto wanted to be left alone, Tenten turned around to head back, but stopped when she heard Naruto call out. Tenten, could you stay here with me for a while? Tenten walked to Naruto's side, and stood still. When it appeared as if Naruto wasn't going to say anything, Tenten stretched a hesitant hand towards his arm. Naruto's soft voice broke through the air and stopped Tenten. Hey Tenten, what does Lee say about hard workers and geniuses? Huh? He's always saying that hard work will always defeat natural genius. What do you think of that Minset? Huh? Tenten, the Rasengan that my father created. It didn't require any special bloodline to learn, only the willpower and the strength of hard work. It took me over a month of constantly practicing that one before I could even form a passable Rasengan. Hirosenin might not have been the best teacher, but he was the first person who actually took any interest in my training. But what about Iruka-sensei? I know that you two are pretty close friends. Didn't he teach you during your years at the Ninja Academy? Naruto dropped his head a bit and spoke in a low voice. Iruka-sensei, and I never saw eye to eye while I was at the academy. To me, he was the same as everyone else in Konoha, and I was a reminder of Konoha's tragedy. It wasn't until the day I graduated that we accepted each other as friends and brothers. The day of your graduation. What happened then? Naruto smiled sadly and shook his head at Tenten. I'm sorry, Tenten, but that's a story that I treasure. Maybe one day when I am ready, I will tell you this story. For now, I'm afraid you're going to have to wait until then. Tenten blushed in embarrassment. Why did I have to ask such a personal question? He's probably really upset now. Naruto, I'm sorry if that offended you. Naruto managed a slight grin and waved her off. Don't worry about it. Anyways, where was I again? Alright, learning the Rasengan. In a way, the Rasengan can be seen as the pinnacle of hard work, attainable through training and dedication. It makes me so angry that Sasuke used his precious eye to copy the pain and sweat that everybody else must endure. I don't get it. This doesn't require any hand seals. How is he able to use the Sharingan to copy it? I'm not sure, but I guess that the Sharingan allows the user to watch their opponent's chakra flow, and then induce an identical flow through the user's own body. All he needed was for someone to show him a proper Rasengan, and then he'd be able to copy it easily. He couldn't copy mine because I used the Kage Bunshin to stabilize my Rasengan. If I were to bet, I'd place my money on Kakashi showing Sasuke the Rasengan. The lazy bastard would probably think it'd be a way to remember me as a teammate. Do you hate them? Naruto chuckled, causing Tenten to look over at him. What's so funny? I want to hate them. I want to spit in their face and swear at them. I want to hate them so much, but I just can't do it. But they had you executed. You have every right to hate them. I've been hanged, burned, stabbed, and poisoned many times before. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was thanks to the stupid fox that I'm still alive today. Tenten looked over and saw tears starting to form in Naruto's eyes. She slowly wrapped her arms around the blonde. Naruto, it's okay to be upset. Just let it out. The two slowly sank to the ground as Naruto relaxed into Tenten's embrace. It hurt so much, Tenten. To see something that you worked so hard for thrown right back in your face so easily cuts deeply. At that moment, I wanted to kill him, the person that I had once considered a good friend. Naruto, it's alright. It's perfectly normal for you to feel this way. You didn't deserve to be treated the way you did, but you still stayed strong. You really are an incredible person, Naruto. I'm glad I've gotten to know you. The two sat there in silence for a while, with Tenten's arms still around Naruto. After a moment, Tenten peeked around to take a look at Naruto. He's fallen asleep, huh? Can't help it, I guess. Tenten closed her eyes herself, allowing Naruto's warmth to permeate through her body. She barely noticed as she slowly fell asleep herself. Moments later, Tsunade was walking back to her office, giggling and cradling a camera. I finally got some good blackmail on the brat. He's never going to live this one down. Meanwhile in Itachi, Orochimaru was curled on a bed, screaming in pain. The wound caused by Naruto's strangeness wasn't healing, in spite of all of Kabuto's efforts. Out of nowhere, he heard a deep voice speak. Having trouble with that wound of yours? Is there a friend? I can grant you the power to get rid of the brat, all you have to do is ask. Very well. In Tenten's mind, a different situation was taking place. She looked around the pure white surroundings, but failed to see anything that would tell her where she was. A voice broke through the void, causing Tenten to turn towards the source. Tenten-chan, it's nice to finally meet you. Ha. Who the hell are you? I failed to properly introduce myself. I am. The end. Thanks for watching my video. Leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.